Alright, hey guys, Pax, welcome back to another Pokemon Pocket video, and in this video we'll be going over Mega Sharpedo EX. The absolute bully of the seas has finally come out, has one of the coolest full arts in this game. You can see it in the right banner of the screen. Bro is basically Jaws on steroids. But yeah, this is Mega Sharpedo EX, HP 190, stage 1. Has one attack, Turbo Shark, requires one water type energy, does 70 damage. After attacking, take a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to one of your bench water Pokemon. This Pokemon also has a 0 retreat cost. So yeah, looking at this, you want to be super aggressive, attacking ideally your first turn, going second, sweeping your opponent, bullying them in the early game, making sure that they can't set up. And yeah, this is the deck list right here, pairing it with Basculin as well as Shenpao EX. This is the 2D pattern code, is also in the top left of the screen. But yeah, if you guys are new to my channel, I highly suggest liking and subscribing. It will really help me out, especially as a small-time content creator. And without further ado, let's get right in to the deck showcase. Alright, here we are in our first battle. We are going second up against the Mega Gallade EX solo deck. Leading with Carvana. Very interesting hand. We have Wallace, 2 Copycats, and Professor. Opponent plays Arena, Hitmonchan, Copycats themselves. Next turn, we can evolve into Sharpedo and start bullying my opponent. And we pull a Shenpao as well. Okay, this is actually pretty huge. So let's do this. Place down Shenpao. Wallace. Next turn, we very much can Copycat or Professor. A lot of options. And in case you guys don't know, according to the Pokédex, this guy is the bully of the sea. And he very much is bullying your opponent's Pokemon towards the early game. Also, another cool thing about this Pokemon is that it has a 0 retreat value. So very nice to have. For now is Turbo Shark. Attacking Hitmonchan. Leading Shenpao. So yeah, this is ideally how you want to play this deck. It's very much high risk, high reward because early game you want to lead with Sharpedo to get the most value. And of course, Sharpedo is a Mega, so once it gets knocked out, you instantly lose the game. Nice, we got Soothing Shore, removing Arena of Antiquity. It should be GG because looking at Shenpao, Shenpao can attack next turn. So yeah, this feed Shenpao, Turbo Shark. Taking out Hitmonchan next turn. If my opponent doesn't Giant Cape Hitmonchan in the bench, should be GG. Damn, that's rough. Not able to attack with Mega Gallade. Keep in mind, if Gallade could have attacked, they would have done 150. 170 with Arena of Antiquity, and 200 with Karina. So yeah, should be GG. We can sub in to Shenpao this turn. Pulling Basculin as well. Basculin is an amazing card for this deck. For one thing, it is an Oricorio counter, can do a max of 80 damage. Does 40 base damage if this Pokemon is moved from your bench to the active spot. This attack does 40 more damage. So yeah, I can one-shot Oricorio even with Giant Cape. So yeah, Diving Icicles, targeting Hitmonchan, easily taking the win. And yeah, with that being said, we shall see how this deck performs in PvP. Alright, here we are in PvP battle, going first. Ideally for this deck, you want to go second just to maximize energy. Also, especially given Wallace, you could attack with Sharpedo your first turn if you go second. Okay, could definitely be better, but not too bad, especially since we can evolve into Sharpedo next turn. Need be, we could either Copycat or Professor's Research. Pretty scary. Opponent leading with Mega Kangaskhan. Okay, what a crazy hand. We pulled Wallace. At this point, Wallace doesn't do anything. Also, one thing to note, Wallace only activates if your Pokemon in play has a maximum HP of 50 or less. So if I Giant Caped Carvana, Wallace won't take into effect. Just a little PSA just in case you guys don't know. I'm actually gonna Sabrina. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Very scary, but I want to do damage onto Kangaskhan. Opponent might have Lima, which is gonna be very annoying to work around, but might as well start bullying Kangaskhan. Doing a bit of damage. Opponent Pokeballs, placing down Oricorio. Subs out of Kangaskhan and into Oricorio. Okay. Very scary, but of course we do have Basculin, so I'm just gonna Copycat. Hopefully I can get a much better hand. Not so much. Okay, do this, yeah. Doing 0 damage. Also, one thing to note now, that's also pretty cool. Once you attack, it shows you how much damage you'll do. So of course, Oricorio being Oricorio, 0 damage. Keep in mind, if I pulled a Shenpao EX, I could have knocked out Kangaskhan my next turn. So RNG is definitely not on my side. And they Lima as well. Opponent feeds Oricorio. Next turn, Oricorio can attack. I need Basculin at this point. Wallace, Soothing Shore. Okay, we have 7 cards left. That's kind of crazy. Use 2 Professors, 1 Copycat. All we could do is this. Yeah, just keep on feeding Sharpedo. But yeah, as you can see, it says 0 damage. We have yet to get a Pokeball as well. At this point, a Pokeball would do wonders. I can attack with Shenpao. Might as well sub in to Sharpedo in the active. Keep in mind, Soothing Shore is healing the one in the bench very passively. So just do this, pretty much. This is all we could do. and just believe that something will happen. Nice. It could be GG in a couple turns, unless my opponent has another Alima, in which I might actually lose it. So retreat. Shenpao isn't active. Diving Icicles. Targeting the Mega. Okay, opponent subs into Lugia. Yeah, elemental switching. Lugia can one-shot Shenpao. Recipe Shenpao, but it should be GG because we have Cyrus coming in clutch. A very awkward game, but it ultimately worked out in the end. Luckily, we have winning condition Cyrus to come in clutch. Again, very scary though. If my opponent did a Lima, I maybe could have still won, but it's going to be very hard to do so. But yeah, as you can see, still very scary. If my opponent was using a much more faster paced deck, such as a Mega Blaziken deck or Hydreigon deck, I most likely would have lost early on, since both my Sharpedos sustained a ton of damage. Alright, next battle, once again going first. Up against potentially a Mega Rayquaza EX deck. Okay, not too bad. So first of all, let's see ya. Got two Carvanhas out, Shenpao, Inflatable Boat. Next turn, we can attack with Sharpedo. And also Copycat. So for now, and our turn. A lot of cards on my opponent's side of the field. They feed Dratini. I'm assuming they're going to retreat into Pichu. Yeah. So next turn, Rayquaza can attack, doing 100 damage. Rainbow Cave for fun. Not really necessary, just doing it because why not? Evolve into Sharpedo. Attack. Once again, feeding Shenpao. In a couple turns, Shenpao should be able to attack. This is where it gets very scary. So all my opponent does is feed Rayquaza. Crackly Toss with Pichu next turn. Rayquaza is doing a minimum of 200 damage, maybe even 250. So we need to pull a Giant Cape, or else we are screwed. Almost forgot. Okay, evolve into Sharpedo. Please give me a Giant Cape. But even then, if my opponent does evolve into Dragonair, it's not looking too good for us. So again, high risk, high reward. That's basically what Sharpedo comes down to. So I feel like the best choice right here is to, first of all, Giant Cape and attack. Feed Basculin. The main issue is that my opponent's drawing 4 cards next turn. 3 cards this turn, 1 more card next turn. They have 7 cards in their deck. So if they don't evolve into Dragonair, we can win. But if they do, it's GG. Moment of truth. Professor as well. Oh my gosh, they have 3 cards. Yeah, Dragonair is out. GG. Yeah. So as you can see, it did not work for us. Freaking Rayquaza doing 250. That's insane, man. But if my opponent wasn't able to get out Dragonair, I would have won. Could have subbed in Shenpao and then one-shotted one of their bench Pokemon just like that. Our next battle going first, leading with Carvanha. Opponents leading with Swablu. Interesting. At this point, all I'm going to do is end my turn. That's pretty much all I could do. On the right side, next turn, we can evolve into Sharpedo, doing 70 damage and then potentially beating one of our bench basic Pokemon. Oh gosh, Raging Bolt. He is coming out. Requires a whopping 5 energy though. Swablu putting Carvanha to sleep, but doesn't matter. For one thing, I get heads. Another thing, we can evolve right now. Copycat. I might as well at this point. Copycat, I could have inflatable boated the Sharpedo, but not really getting too much value because of course it has a 0 retreat value. So feed Sharpedo and then 2 turns Shenpao EX can attack. One-shotting Swablu just like this. Opponent places down Rainbow Cave, another Swablu. Raging Bolt acting like a tank. Okay. We got Sabrina. I'm actually not going to use it. At this point, it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, opponent kind of messed up, man. Raging Bolt has a retreat value of 3, so we should be able to knock out next turn, in which of course we can one-shot any of my opponent's Pokemon with Shenpao. The main issue of course is Sing. Sing can definitely be my opponent's win condition, so ultimately time will tell. But Raging Bolt can't attack. For one thing, they have no discard energy just of yet because they use Professor Sada, so give me a minor heart attack, but it should be GG. Get this nightmare Pokemon out of here. Got very scary. Bro almost summoned Exodia, but unfortunately fell short. Hold up. Dragonite came out, but cannot attack. Okay. A lot of heart attacks, a lot of mini heart attacks in this battle, but that was pretty bad. Opponent tried so hard to win, but just couldn't. Was like 1 energy short from just winning the game. And yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna do one more battle. All right, last battle, once again, going first. We got the Mew Ex, Mewtwo Ex, and God of War combo. Okay. At this point, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna set up for next turn. So let's see ya. then Pokeball, getting all our basic Pokemon out on the field. Now end our turn. Next turn we can Professor, and then hopefully pull Inflatable Boat as well as Sharpedo. So yeah, going first, leading with Shenpao EX is probably like the worst scenario you could have using this deck. Opponent attacks Shenpao. Professor, please give me something. Copycat. Okay, Sharpedo is out, but cannot attack this turn, so it's more beneficial to attack with Shenpao, doing Icicles. Not too much damage, but next turn we can sub into Sharpedo and then just work from there. I'm actually gonna Professor's Research. This will be amazing if I can get an Inflatable Boat, making so that Shenpao can attack next turn. We do not, but we could heal up Shenpao a little bit. Using Genome Hacking, my opponent could have used Diving Icicles and knocked out either Shenpao or one of my bench Pokemon, so pretty much. If they use Cyrus, which I mean, would be an absolutely diabolical combo. For now, just Turbo Shark. Okay, opponent subs into Routes, basically as a sacrificial lamb. Nice, it should be GG, but yeah, you see how this deck works. It's kind of slow in my opinion. I feel like, yeah, the playstyle is definitely very fast-paced, but when it comes to damage, it just feels like it's not worth it, you know? Like, there are far better alternatives. I'll save my opinion for the outro, but yeah, very straightforward. Feed Basculin, a lot of options next turn. Could do a lot of stuff. I could Copycat, but nah. Taking out this Ross, getting that free point. Next turn, attack with Shenpao using Diving Icicles, and it should be GG. This is a very old deck. I feel like my opponent... Oh shit, they red card. But it doesn't matter, because, yeah, Diving Icicles. But yeah, I feel like my opponent is like a returning player. I don't know if I ruined this guy's day, but this is, in PvP, I put competitive as like the title, so what can you expect, you know? But yeah, with that being said, Sabrina, just for fun, doesn't matter. Sub in another Mewtwo, why not? Or even Routes. Big Brain Strat, Inflatable Boat, the Sharpedo. Look at that. Imagine if you retreat, you actually gain 1 energy. That'll be insane. But yeah, Shenpao taking the win as always. An absolute legend when it comes to the Water type meta. One-shotting Mew, taking the game. And yeah, that was the Mega Sharpedo EX deck showcase. And yeah, that was the video. Once again, hopefully you guys did enjoy. Overall, a very decent pairing. But in my opinion, if you want to run a Shenpao EX deck, run Suicune Excalibur. I feel like that pairing is far more solid. For one thing, Suicune is less risky to play towards the early game because of course it is an EX, whereas Mega Sharpedo is a Mega EX. Once Suicune EX gets knocked out, you could easily sub into either Excalibur or Shenpao. So yeah, a lot more versatile in that regards. But in terms of Sharpedo, I see what they're going for, but it feels so weird leading with a Mega. You know, like early game, early to mid game. Very risky, especially in a meta where it's like very fast-paced. This is the meta where we have Mega Sceptile, Mega Blaziken, Hydreigon, a lot of Pokemon that can easily attack, doing a ton of damage. You're most likely screwed, especially if your opponent can get Hydreigon out their second turn going first. They attack Sharpedo, next turn you retreat, their next turn, Cyrus, that's the game. So yeah, overall, if I would rate this deck, I'd rate it B to B minus. It's, yeah, I feel like when it comes to water type decks, Suicune Excalibur is still the strongest in my opinion. We'll most likely see the same success as previous months. Once again, I really would appreciate it if you guys like and subscribe. As always, it would help me out both mentally and physically. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace.